Hi, I'm Laura Barnett, and I will be presenting my GRP project for Dr. Block's class. My topic is Mexican American teens and pregnancy. And in this paper, I will look at the different areas like intervention and prevention. I will also look at the links between being a sibling of a teen parent, acculturation, and the family, and the link with becoming a teen parent. First of all, I'll give you some background information. It's extremely shocking to hear that in the United States, Mexican American teens have a 94.5 chance out of 1,000 of becoming pregnant, compared to 52 out of 1,000 nationally. And thankfully, pregnancy seems to be going through a decline. However, Mexican American teens are still more prone to becoming pregnant. So that was one of the reasons why I chose this topic. Being Mexican American myself, I really wanted to investigate what is going on within my culture and what I can do as a counselor to better support this community. So one of the literature reviews that I looked at was a review where Feldman and Pittman looked at Rio Grande, Texas, and they looked at the resiliency of teen teen moms, and they looked at what factors, what risks were present. Like, for example, they looked closely at birth, being a premature baby, low birth weight. They looked at weight gain, 44 pounds or more, or 15 pounds or less. And within their interviews, they found that the only risk factor was gaining weight 15 pounds or less. That was the only apparent factor. And surprisingly, they found that teens were extremely resilient to the other risk factors due to the support of their family. In another review, I looked at the relationship between teen pregnancy and being a sibling of a teen mom. In this research project, the researchers looked at a group of siblings of teen moms, and what they found was within interviews they noticed a pattern where the teen siblings looked at pregnancy as being easy. Two-thirds of the teens actually said that it was easy. Why? Because they saw that the teen mom had support from both her family, the baby's dad's family. The baby's dad was there to support them. Some teens even went on to say that they would become a teen parent and that they thought that the baby was cute and that it was okay to be pregnant and be a teen. One really positive finding was that these teen siblings of teen moms really wanted to strive to better themselves, to be a good role model for their nieces and nephews. So that was something that was positive that was found within the research. Another one of the literature reviews that I looked at was a tie between acculturation and the onset of sexual activity. And in this study, they looked at a group of over 7,000 students throughout the United States, Anglo and Mexican American. And what researchers found through interviews and surveys was that the less acculturated a teen was, the less likely they would be to experience sex. So the more acculturated they were, the more likely they would be to have sex as a teen. So that was something that I found in that literature review. Another literature review that I looked at was a review where researchers looked at the best practices for us counselors. And what they looked at was looking at the Mexican American community as a collective community and really reaching out and learning and understanding that Mexican American families look at each other as a team that works together to raise children. So it was very apparent in the research that counselors have understanding and learn to deal with Mexican American families as a whole, as a team. One of the findings was that teen moms, when they referred to themselves, instead of saying myself or I, they said we. So that was very inclusive of the family. And another very important thing to understand when looking at Mexican American culture is that family is immediate family, extended family, neighbors, close friends. So all of these people are looked up on as family. So very important for us to understand that, and to be able to inform others is also extremely crucial for success. One thing that I saw in this review about best practices that I remember as a child was that ongoingly teen moms were mentioning that their parents never spoke to them about having sex, never said it is inappropriate, it is not acceptable in our family, you need to wait. The only thing they told them was that sex was bad and they are not supposed to have it. So one teen mom in an interview talked about how frustrated she was because her mom said, "Don't have sex. If you have sex, I'm sending you to Mexico." Well, this girl mentioned that she really wanted to know about sex, and she wanted to know what it is and how a body reacts. And she said that because her parents would not address it, she would talk to her boyfriend. He knew more, he was more experienced, and he went ahead and told her that she couldn't get pregnant after her period. And she thought that he was right because she was never informed. So this is another thing to take into consideration, that it is an unsaid thing in our community. We do not have sex, but we do not talk to our children about it. So that is something really important to understand, that as counselors, we will have to learn how to teach our parents that it is important to educate our own children. Another thing in this paper that I thought was very important and true to heart was that parents really and truly value teachers. They look at teachers as an authoritarian, a person in charge, and they teach their children to respect teachers, and whatever the teacher says is what goes. So it is another thing to think about, is that a lot of times Mexican American parents are looking for teachers. They're waiting for teachers to educate their children about sex. So as a counselor, we have to be open to dialogue to them and tell them that this is a subject that a parent needs to address themselves, and it's not only the school's job, it is a team effort. The last review that I looked at was a review about perceptions that we as counselors may have, and when working with teen parents, really being cautious, because it was stipulated that counselors really were not serving students in the areas of referrals. They were not serving them as they needed. So what the study encompassed was an interview of counselors throughout the country, and what they did was they looked at different areas, and they found that the majority of counselors truly did not want to leave out anybody from services. However, they did find that teen dads were more likely to be left out and not be referred, and teen mothers received more services. And one of the assumptions was that teen dads would ask for help if needed. So that's another thing that as service providers and counselors, we have to ensure that we are looking at our students and trying to make sure and assure them that we are there to support them in whatever area of needs they may have. So lastly, I wanted to find a theory that I could maybe connect to my culture, Mexican Americans, and I looked at Brenner's ecological theory of systems, and when I looked at that theory, it really sparked a lot of interest, and really I could see a close tie to my community, to my roots, because he looks at the development of children, and within the development there are different levels which are close ties to the development, and one of the levels would be family, school, just very close people to the child that help them develop. And another one of the levels would look at the it's would look at like religion, culture, and as we move along through the levels, we looked at exterior influences like the parent's job and things like that, and how all of these areas will help develop and will also contribute to different problems and issues within the child's life. For example, if you look at something as indirect as the parent's job, how that could influence the development of the child. Let's say one of our teenagers is left home alone because his mom and dad have to work long hours. Well, in this area, the teen's parents are really leaving the child unsupervised, and even though this is something having to do with the parent's job, this is directly influencing the child and his development. He might be looking at high sexual content television. He might be actually engaging in sexual activity. He might be in a situation where he or she is being raped by a family member or a close friend that is supposed to be taking care of them. So within this theory, again, we're looking at all the different influences and how it relates to us. And as a Mexican American, I can tell you that we look at family and friends, and even though they might be friends, we look at them as family, and we trust them with our children. And this theory again really supports that, and how all these people are directly involved in the development of our children. So I thought that that was pretty neat. And just to end this presentation, I hope that you can see how important our role will be, because to prevent, we as counselors are going to have to educate our parents. We really have to speak up and have this close relationship, and it is not necessarily needed to go out and buy an expensive curriculum for parent ed on teen pregnancy. It is more important to go out into the community, to know them, to make sure that they know that we're on the same side and we're trying to prevent and intervene before our teens become pregnant or are experiencing in challenging and difficult types of behaviors. Again, so the best way, and something that I saw reoccurringly, was to reach out to the family, to let them know, to educate them, to let them know that it is their role, and as a counselor I can support them, but we need to work together to better support our teens. And I hope that this was informative, and thank you so much.